Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Lee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 2. But first things first, if you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel to become a whole JayBird, and all that goodness and stuff and whatnot, okay? Subscribe to my channel, okay? Like, comment, and share my video. Follow me on IG and Twitter at J_Lees_Corner. Remember to relax, to relate, to release, to center yourself and everyone around you, to breathe it on in and breathe it on out. You know what I'm saying? To get yourself cleared on up and all of that stuff. Let's move on. So Kenya is meeting with Cynthia at Kenya's house or whatever, and she's inviting over LaToya. Boom. This is LaToya. Now, Cynthia brings up how I'm surprised you're already bringing her around and whatnot, because we just met her, or you just met her the other day at Ty's birthday party. And Cynthia's like, I'm surprised because Kenya usually isn't that nice to new people. The production then shows how she acted towards Kim Fields back in the day, how she used to act towards Marlo, and just how Kenya has cut up with anybody who she felt either threatened by or who she felt like she could bully and whatnot, okay? But for some reason, Kenya said she feels like Toya is a refreshing, breath of fresh air, and, she no longer Candy friend, she my friend now. I'm like, here we go. So, LaToya brings up how, 2020 has been crazy or whatever. Her husband are separating, but they still live in the same house. She brings up Kenya and Mark, what's going on with them. And Kenya brings up how, she is not filed for divorce just yet, okay? But that her and Mark are still separated. But that he's just angry, since she's trying to let him work through that, because right now all he wants to do is fight. Now, throughout this scene, LaToya kept on explaining things that Trinidadian men do. I didn't care at all. Now, she's a very beautiful woman, okay? We're gonna say that, but she was giving me like dumb diddy dingy vibes. She was giving me Portia's first season vibes, when Portia was like, who's operating the train? Because someone had to drive the train on the Underground Railroad. She's giving me that. Like, I'm dumb diddy, but I'm a good person, but I'm still dumb diddy and whatnot. But we'll see how much she works out this season or whatever. But Kenya seems to like her. But I think Kenya is looking for a sidekick, an ally, okay, to keep herself on the show. If I attach myself to a newbie who will probably come on next season, it's more likely that I will be on next season too, okay? We then see it's a day after Portia was arrested. So we see her mama and her sister with baby PJ, because of course Portia is still in Kentucky or whatever. So, they FaceTime Portia. Now we see Portia's confess. I'm looking like, oh, Portia, come on now. I like the little short bob. I mean, I don't like the front baby hair. It looked like an ocean, like if the tide was coming in and it washed away some of the sand. That's what it looked like, a little bit like the sand just kind of moved around a little bit. But I like the choppy little cut of it all. I like her dress. I like prints. Okay, I think her breasts are enough out to where it's not too much tit. It's just enough tit. You know what I'm saying? That's just enough tit to be in a confessional look. Her makeup is amazing. Okay, lips is popping and whatnot. She looks great. Portia looks great. Okay, but I just don't like the little front part of her wig and whatnot. This is a little beachy. Now via FaceTime, she brings up how, I was over being in jail, but when I got out, I was still focused on the reason why I was there, seeing Breonna Taylor's mama there, just knowing that all of this is for a purpose. I'm going to continue to fight the good fight. Portia is officially a freedom fighter. But we then see she's gonna be back home or whatnot, and she do get back home, and she's sitting around talking with her mama about how I felt to be arrested or whatever, how she was scared. But again, she realized my grandfather did this is what he would do, whatever, and I am built to last for this, and I'm gonna keep doing what? Fighting the good fight. Amen. Her mom like, I'm so happy that Dennis was able to be there with you, whatever. And I'm like, well, it would have made more sense if one parent was out protesting and the other one was at home with the kids, and that both parents do not get arrested. But I'm gonna leave that being whatnot, okay? But she's like, well, I was happy, to have him there too, but me and Dennis need to have a little talk and whatnot, because again, like, I love him. But, you know, with COVID or whatever, the whole quarantine thing, you know, him living here, also him having a place in the city or whatnot, like, our fighting is starting to get toxic, and I don't like that and whatnot. So me and him have to have a conversation, because, again, like, right now, sometimes I be forgetting that I'm engaged. You should never forget you're engaged. Even if you are fighting a good fight, you still realize that it's my fiance right there, versus that's Dennis, my baby daddy or whatnot. So we then see Cynthia is beating up with Drew Sidora, the newbie. Now, she had two looks, okay? Now, the first look in the silvery dress I did not like at all. I feel like that look, we can tell, was probably done, you know, directly in COVID times, where she had to do it herself, because the wig even looks a little bit cheap. Like, the ends look a little bit not so nice or whatever. I just feel like, you know, that was her doing her best, okay? And then the second look, okay, with the purple dress, okay, the regal purple, if you want to ask me. It's like a blue purple, you know what I'm saying, like a dark blue purple. Anyway, you know, the hair looks better. The makeup looks better, and it's, you know, she looks more put together. The makeup looks more professional. So again, I think the first look was him saying you have to do it yourself at the house, and the second look was him saying we did it for you. The outfits, I prefer the purplish outfit, only because the silvery one with the hair I don't like. I always feel like when you have shoulder pads and stuff, you have to have either a short haircut or some kind of updo. I never really like it when people have like shoulder dresses and they had their hair covering the shoulders of the dress. Like the purple dress, she has the hair up off the dress. You know what I'm saying? I feel like long hair like that is for like spaghetti strap type dresses or whatnot. But again, you know, not a bad look for either one. So, you know, her and Cynthia meet up or whatever. Cynthia brings up how she met Drew through Eva. We then see footage of Eva introducing Drew to Cynthia last year at Cynthia's engagement party. You know, when he proposed to her, surprisingly. Something like, oh, Drew must have been kind of, sort of supposed to have been on the show being tested last season, and we just did not see any of it and whatnot. But again, she was there, her and her husband, so that's fine and whatnot. But Drew brings up how she moved to Atlanta a year ago to see what kind of work she can get in LA, because she's a working actress. She was like, but again, we know that Drew was on The Game. We know that Drew played T-Boz in the TLC movie. She says she was in the play for Set It Off. I did not see the play, so I did not know that she was in it, but I heard the play was really good. So again, she's a working actress. I did Google her to see. I'm like, was she in other stuff? She do have movies that she's done, TV. She's, you know, been in things. You know, she may not be, you know, a popular actress, but she's an actress nonetheless. Anyway, so Cynthia asked her if she's ever met. I thought she said Kenya. No, I thought she said Candy at first. Like, have you ever met Candy? Because Candy's actress. I'm like, Candy, no. But I'm like, I think she said Kenya, and I just wasn't listening that well or whatnot. But Drew said, well, no, you know, we're kind of in a different age bracket, so, you know, I haven't seen that. Like, I'm usually going up for roles against people like, you know, Megan Good or whatnot. Not really, you know what I'm saying? Not Kenya or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's true. And I think Kenya was on Watch What Happens Live and brought up how we, you know, we are in two different age brackets, whatever. I am older than her, but I look younger than her. I'm like, you do not look... Kenya, you look amazing for your age, but you do not look younger than Drew Sidora. You just don't. But Kenya is shady. And I think she's jealous, but I'm going to leave that be too. Kenya don't like anyone that's around her, that's like in her same field, who can probably say that they're still currently doing things. Because we know Kenya don't really act no more. And that was not me trying to be shady. Anyway, you know, she also brings up how, you know, we can all maybe do some double dates. You know, she's married, you know, Cynthia has Micah, whatever. And come to find out, Cynthia's, Mike and Drew's husband are kind of, you know, cool and whatnot. We do see Drew at home with her husband, whose name is Ralph. They have been married for 6 years. Okay, they have been together for 6.5 years. Yep, they got married 6 months after, you know, dating or whatever. Her mom is living with them right now, whatever. Her mom is a pastor. She brings up her mom came to visit when she hurt her leg, and then COVID happened, and mom just, been there ever since. Now, the mom seems to be a very strong personality or whatever. She reminds me of like Mama Joyce, Mama D. Who was Mama was on the show? Has anybody else's mama been on it? Well, because Cynthia mama real cool. But she's just like, it's a lot. It's a whole lot of whatnot. Anyway, so we also see the mama may feel like her opinion matters a lot in their house. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm done with nothing, you know what I'm saying? She also brings up how sometimes her mama doesn't be around or whatnot. They trying to do it or whatever. And the mom like, oh, I'm sorry. If you is living in your child's house, and I feel like a parent should never go in their child's bedroom when they are, living there as an adult. If they have a husband, like, you can come anywhere else around here, but if me and my husband are in our room and the door's closed, you shouldn't be nowhere near our door. Even if the door is cracked, don't come anywhere near our door. Even if the door is open, if we in there together, just don't come here. Just don't even come on that floor, because I don't want you to hear whatever could be going on. I think out of respect, that should be a thing of whatnot. But our mama seemed to be like, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do. Anyway, that was really all we think with Drew, whatever, at least for that part. Drew, I think, will be a good addition to the show if her husband don't drive us crazy. Anyway, Kenny's part of the show is Riley graduation. She's graduating from high school or whatever, and because of COVID, only 2 people can come per student. So of course, Mama Joyce went and Kenny. At first, I'm like, well, damn, that's both a tie, but I feel like no. When Candy was on the road and working or whatever, Mama Joyce is who helped raise Riley. So I'm like, no, Mama Joyce should 100% be the second person to go, beside Candy. And Candy brings up how her graduation from high school was crazy too. But of course, she was on the road with Escape at that point in time. She brings up how the group was mad at her because she flew back to Atlanta, whatever, to go to her graduation, and then she went back on the road and whatnot, and none of the girls came to her graduation. I'm like, that's girl, long time ago, leave it be and whatnot. Anyway, she had the whole graduation. Yay, Riley, yay! And girl, that new nose. I feel like Riley was getting her makeup done, and the makeup artist was still contouring her nose, and that could be why in the photos her nose looked funny, because you should not still be contouring your nose with makeup after nose job. That's just stupid. But her new nose, honey, it don't fit just yet. Maybe she'll grow into it. I don't know, but girl, anyway, Todd gave her a whole wad of cash, for upper president and whatnot, and that was really it. She going to NYU, and that was all that we had was Candy and her storyline today. Now, Cynthia's having a wine taste at her house because she wants to put some black-owned wine in her wine bar and whatnot, and so she's having them come over to test and taste these different wines to see which one tastes the best for her to sell at Cynthia's, what's it called, Cynthia's wine cellar, wine bar, wine masseur, I don't know. Anyway, we do see Toya and Kenya Rav together, and the shadiness started real early. You know what I'm saying? It was fun, petty shade, but still, I'm clueless. How do I not put my foot in my mouth? I don't know. It was a girl asking Cindy, are those plants real? Are those grapes real? I love cold meatballs, meaning your food is cold, your plants look fake, and your grapes is bullshit, they fake too. I'm like, well, calm down now, you just walked in the door. Now, we then see Marlo get there too. Marlo's confessional, baby. Marlo looks amazing. Okay, look. Marlo, the past 2 seasons, I believe, is a different Marlo than she was, let's say, 6 seasons ago. Marlo has really been able to tone down her extraness a little bit, just enough to where it's not aggravating. It's just funny enough to be, appetizing and whatnot. And she looks amazing. She looks like a friend of the show. I feel like for so long, Marlo was Nene's accessory. She came out to hang out with Nene was around or whatever, and she was like kind of, Marlo, she was Nene's accessory. I feel like with Nene being gone, Marlo can really be herself. She can still be funny or whatever, and she's not having to speak up for other people, which sometimes make us not like her. I love Marlo so far, because this episode, baby, she was eating Kenya's ass up. Okay, I said, let her do it. Anyway, Cynthia sits Marlo next to Kenya. I'm looking like, girl, that could be a disaster waiting to happen. So they sitting around chitting, chatting, or whatever, bring up how, Riley, well, Candy not there because of the graduation. And how Candy and them give to Riley, like maybe a Porsche or whatever. Latoya then brings up how her sugar daddy brought her first car, okay, and that she met him when she was a stripper at a club. Now, I don't know if she was lying and joking, because she did get up and she was like twerking or whatever. I'm like, what is going on here? Mike walked up looking like, what the fuck is going on here? It was weird, you know what I'm saying? Because at that point in time, Marlo brings up how she has dated old white men, but she never considered them a sugar daddy. We then see Latoya Googling the definition of sugar daddy, and then her and Kenya are like, pull my hair. Yeah. And I'm like, how did this turn sexual? And then Mike looking like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is that? I don't know what's happening. Like, leave me be and whatnot. It was crazy. Okay, we then see Drew and her husband get there, whatever. She brought her husband because the husband is cool with Mike. So Mike and the husband, Ralph, will go hang out and whatever. But Kenya was so shady and jealous, to say the least, or whatnot. Because when Drew walked in, I'm saying, I'm underwhelmed with Drew. I'm like, but you don't know her. Like, how are you underwhelmed with some? It was just, it gave me the whole, like, Wendy and Karen vibes on Potomac. You are underwhelmed with someone you don't know. Karen at least had, in passing, things with Wendy, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, Kenya, how much do you know Drew to say that you are underwhelmed? But then said, Cynthia always bringing around strays, but then said that Drew's husband is cute and she laughs. Kenya has a tendency and a habit to have issues with women but like their husbands. Kenya, that makes you look like, I won't say a whore, not a whore, but but just like, you want to fuck the lady husband, and you should stop making yourself seem like someone who will fuck someone's husband, and talking down about a woman and then saying how good her husband looks makes you look like you out here want to fuck that lady husband. The same way, for season after season, we thought you wanted to fuck Phaedra's husband, and then that ain't work out. Anyway, Kenya then asked Drew how she hurt her foot because she's got the boot on and whatnot. Oh, I was on stage on the play, and, I ended up messing up my Achilles, on her Achilles heel, ground or Achilles, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it happened while I was working or whatever. As she's talking, Toya then say, oh, we don't care about that. We just want some wine. I'm looking like, Toya is a lot to take, and Candy in a confession earlier brought up how, Toya's a lot, she's a lot to take in and whatnot, and we see why. It's like she don't think before she talks, and it comes out rude, and she remind me of Paris Hilton. Like, oh, I'm just a dumb blonde, but she really wasn't a dumb blonde, she was playing a role. I'm like, is Toya playing a dumb blonde? I don't know. Anyway, she then says to Kenya that Drew has a pet cat on her head. She's discussing Drew's wig. I'm looking like, the wig did not look like a pet cat. It was just a lot of, girl, I had the picture, but I don't. Anyway, again, this is where we see, messiness and pettiness coming from Toya, where if you partner it with Kenya, it can become disastrous or whatever. And I do know that Drew posts on social media that a stray cat, she posted whatever the definition was and brought up how she good because she's at home with her family. How you doing? Because again, Kenya has never been at home with her husband. But we're gonna leave at me. But we then see Toya walk up, somehow she don't like Drew. Look like, how you don't like her? You just met her. But she's like, I don't like you when you were on the game. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Because again, we all know how we hated Drew Sidora when she made Derwin and Melanie break up. anyway, Marlo then asked Drew if are you working? Like, are you currently working and acting or whatever? She's like, yeah, I've had some things going on. Marlo there said, oh great, you can get Kenya to work. I said, oh, because Kenya hasn't had work acting wise. I know she guest starred on Tia's show on Netflix, Family Reunion. She had like one guest role on there. I don't know if anything else Kenya has been in lately. But bitch, I died. For Marlo to ask Drew Sidora to get Kenya a job, girl, I cannot. Now, as Marlo and Toya's getting food, Marlo tells Toya, like, don't trust Kenya, like, don't tell Kenya your stuff, your business, because Kenya will use it against you. Oh, so I shouldn't, like, take advice from her? Marlo said, well, you can, how to, like, pronounce words, yeah, like, but don't. She said she basically called Kenya hooked on phonics. Like, yeah, she can help you to stop. She basically said, she can help you say words, but that's really it. Because she could keep a man if Jesus paid her. I was like, no. She was eating Kenya alive, okay? She can't keep a man even if Jesus paid her. I say, girl, Marlo had me cackling, okay? Anyway, now we then see a little scene with Mike and Ralph, okay? Then that's Drew's husband, Mike. No, girl. That's Drew's husband, Ralph, okay? He looks nice. You know what I'm saying? But later on, we see the real him. Now, Ralph was saying how, things have been just kind of hard lately or whatever. How marriage can be good, bad, and indifferent or whatever. And with COVID and, Drew getting hurt and them being all in the house or whatever. Her mama moving in or whatever. And, just things going on. Like, he just sometimes has to take a break. You know what I'm saying? He just feel like if he isn't okay, he can't be okay for the family, so sometimes he just have to like walk away and breathe it on out. He said, one time I left for a few days, I'm saying, because I wasn't good or whatnot, I was gone or whatever, and I just left it at that. And Mike's like, oh, well, okay, I think you probably should be sure to talk to Drew so y'all can communicate those things, because you don't want to mess shit up. I feel like Ralph was on some bullshit and could have already messed shit up and whatnot. So that's what it was. We then see the ladies sitting around tasting the wine. And Toya brings up how she wants to hook Kenya up with someone since Kenya is currently separated, and because Toya is currently separated, which makes Drew feel like, well, if you marry, you can't be out here like just doing what you marry. You can't do that. It's then the conversation of what does it mean to be separated. I feel like Drew's point to where if you are separated, you should not be dating anyone else and doing anything else. You should be trying to fix the marriage. If you want to date other people, then you should get divorced. Toya's point was, if I'm separated, I'm supposed to be able to live my life away from my husband or whatever. And Drew felt like, no man's going to sit around and wait for you for no year of separation or whatever, to come back to him if you're out here doing whatever. And I feel like different strokes for different folks, okay? Some people separate and they do go out and live life and have fun and date other people, and then they realize, this ain't what I want. I want my family, and they get back together. Some do that and they then divorce. But I do feel like you can't tell someone, well, just go ahead and divorce. You know what I'm saying? Some people need a separation, and it's up to the couple to decide what their separation looks like. Some people's separation looks like we are able to do whatever, where some look like, no, we're going to do some counseling, we're going to be living separately, but we're still trying to work things out. But it depends on each couple. No one can say what someone else's separation should look like. But clearly Kenya ain't trying to be out here sucking and fucking. Latoya wants to suck and fuck. And they're both right to do that if they want to. But I'm like, whatever. But Drew then brings up how, even her husband have issues too. So she gets people wanting to separate or people wanting to divorce. How sometimes when they fuss and they fight, when they are pissed off at each other, they both will say, like, we should divorce. But they don't do it. They just say that in anger or whatever. She then brings up how at one point in time, recently he got so mad or whatever that he left for 3 days. Okay, he left for 3 days, and she did not know, one, that he had left, or two, where he was for those 3 days. I'm looking like, bitch, ain't no way, girl. You You cannot leave me for 3 days and I don't know where you are. Like that don't work. No. But Drew brings up how, when we fight hard. But when we make up as if nothing ever happened. That's called toxic. Okay. That's what it is. Anyway, we see Kenya and Cynthia kind of go inside to discuss, the ladies or whatever. Kenya feel like that Drew and Toya will be kind of beefing eventually because, again, Toya was saying a little slick shit about Drew's hair. And Cynthia feels as if that Drew's marriage was an interesting dynamic being spoken about with the group or whatever, which makes Kenya say, her bringing up how her and her husband have these issues or whatever, him leaving and whatnot, reminding me of my issues in my marriage. So I decided to go ahead and file for divorce. But I have a plan what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to first get a custody action in together first. I'll then do a post-nup situation. And then after all that is in place, I would then file for divorce. But I would talk to him and tell him I'm going to file. Like, I wouldn't just like kind of surprise, or whatever. And I feel like at least she has a plan. But she ain't did shit yet. Like, even currently, her and that man are still legally married, girl, it's foolishness or whatever. It's foolishness. And when Cynthia asked, like, do you think that you have to get the whole custody in order because you think he would try to fight for custody? She's like, yes, like for shits and giggles, he would absolutely do that to me because he likes fighting. And I'm looking like, Kenya talks cash shit about how bad Mark is. But on Watch What Happens Last Night, we're working through things or whatever. He wants his marriage. I'm looking like, I don't believe you, Kenya. I think Mark is okay with making you look foolish because, again, it gives you a storyline. Because during the season, it's all shitty. And then off season, we're working it out. Why can't we see y'all working shit out? I don't like it. And then lastly, Drew and her husband are having their little anniversary dinner, okay, at the house or whatever. And, they sitting there fussing and arguing and fussing and arguing. And Drew's point was, it all came from this. Drew was like, you left here for 3 days and I did not know where you were. That ain't cool with me. His point was, you have no idea the kind of pressure a black man is under, whatever. And sometimes if I leave, it's a spur of the moment thing or whatever. And, I just have to go away to be able to come back. I'm looking like, y'all need therapy because what man thinks it's okay to leave their wife for 3 days and not tell her where he went? I don't get it or whatever. And she brought up how when I was calling you didn't answer your phone or whatever. There were texts that you did not respond to. If it wasn't about the house or just the house or baby business or whatnot, he even said it was only one text that you said that I did not respond to, like quickly or whatever. The fact that your wife called you and for 3 days at any point you did not answer her calls don't sit well with me. It just don't. I don't care if y'all was arguing and you left to get some, just to get some air. No, he then said I was at the beach. I'm like, because he kept fussing about why does it matter where I was. And her point was, because you motherfucking up, like I should always know where you are. Like, did you leave Georgia? Where did you go? He said, yes, I left Georgia and I went to the beach. Now, excuse me, it was a crazy back and forth where he just kept making it seem as if she was crazy for asking him where he was. And the fact that he was kind of yelling and fussing with her and she was fussing right back, but their marriage is toxic. I'm like, that's not cool or whatever. He then admits, okay, fine, I was in Tampa. And I'm like, Tampa? When somebody posted on IG how it's like an 8-hour drive from Atlanta to Tampa, who the fuck drives 8 hours to go to a beach when there are beaches in Georgia? I think Drew said like it's 4 beaches you pass before getting to Tampa. Your husband is fucking somebody in Tampa. Okay? Your husband is no one drives 500 miles away to go to a beach for 3 days because they had an argument with their wife. Unless they doing what? Fucking somebody in Tampa. And I'm like, I mean, it's gonna be entertaining to say the least, but I mean, Ralph looks like an asshole. a complete asshole. Because I was like, not on my watch, not today. Anyway, that's how it went off for him admitting he was in Tampa. He was in Tampa. And telling her, like, she has to kind of stop, you know, flying off the handles or whatever. She has to stop acting that way, or else they won't make it another situation. I'm like, the fuck you, girl. Anyway, until next week. Peace.